The rain came down in sheets that October afternoon, turning the streets of Portland into rivers of reflected neon and gray sky. I was standing under the awning of Poel's City of Books, my favorite escape from the world, when I saw her trying to hail a cab that would never come. Her dark hair was plastered to her face, her white blouse nearly transparent, and she was actually laughing at the absurdity of it all. I didn't think. I just walked over and held my umbrella over both of us. "Thank you," she said, her accent immediately catching my attention. British, maybe, Australian, I couldn't quite place it. Her eyes were the color of strong coffee, warm and deep, with little flecks of gold that caught what little light filtered through the storm clouds. "You're welcome," I managed, suddenly very aware that I was wearing my rattiest jeans and a flannel shirt with a coffee stain on the collar. "No one's getting a cab in this weather. Can I walk you somewhere?" She studied me for a moment, water dripping from her eyelashes, and then she smiled. It was the kind of smile that makes you forget your own name. "The Jupiter Hotel," she said. "I'm staying there for a few months. Work thing." "I know it well," I said, which was true. It was about a 15-minute walk. "I'm Meyer, by the way. Olivia," she replied, stepping closer under the umbrella. "And you're absolutely saving my life right now." We started walking, our shoulders touching in the cramped space beneath my small umbrella. I could smell her perfume, something subtle and expensive, like bergamot and cedar mixed with a clean scent of rain. "What brings you to Portland?" I asked, trying to sound casual while my heart was doing gymnastics in my chest. "I'm a documentary filmmaker," Olivia explained, "working on a piece about independent bookstores and their role in preserving community culture. I'm here for 6 months, traveling up and down the West Coast." 6 months? I repeated, the words settling somewhere uncomfortable in my chest. Why did that detail feel important? I'd known this woman for approximately 3 minutes. "Give or take," she said. "Depends on how the filming goes." "What about you, local?" "Born and raised," I said. "I'm a graphic designer, freelance, mostly, work from home, which means I spend an unhealthy amount of time at the Poels to maintain some connection to humanity." She laughed a real laugh, not the polite kind. "I already like you, Meyer." We walked in comfortable silence for a while, navigating puddles and crowded sidewalks. Other people rushed past us with newspapers over their heads or designer raincoats, but we had our little bubble under my faded blue umbrella. "Do you have dinner plans?" Olivia asked as we turned onto Burnside Street. I definitely did not have dinner plans. My dinner plans involve leftover pad thai and a Netflix binge. "Nothing concrete," I said. "There's supposed to be an excellent Thai place near my hotel." "Pok Pok. Have you been?" I had been to Pok Pok approximately 700 times. It was my comfort food spot. "Once or twice," I said, underselling it drastically. "Would you like to join me?" As a thank you for the umbrella rescue, I should have said no. I should have recognized the flutter in my stomach for what it was, the beginning of something that would hurt when it ended. But I've never been good at should. "I'd love to," I said. "Pok with crowded, as always, but we managed to snag a small table by the window." Olivia ordered like someone who knew food, pointing confidently at menu items I'd never tried despite my many visits. She got the fish sauce wings, the papaya salad, and something called kausai that arrived in a beautiful ceramic bowl. "Try this," she said, pushing the bowl toward me. "It's a northern Thai curry with noodles. Life-changing." She wasn't wrong. It was rich and complex, sweet and spicy and absolutely perfect. "Oh my God," I said, perhaps too enthusiastically, right? Olivia grinned. "Food is one of my love languages, along with film, books, terrible puns, and rescuing stray cats." "How many cats are we talking about?" "Currently, 3. But I had to leave them with my sister in London while I'm traveling. I miss them desperately." She pulled out her phone and showed me pictures. A tabby named Austin, a black cat called Bronte, and a fluffy orange menace named Wild. "You named your cats after writers," I observed. "Literary cats for a literary soul," she said. "What about you? Any pets?" "One very judgmental turtle named Kafka," I admitted. He mostly glares at me from his tank and makes me question my life choices. Olivia laughed so hard she snorted, which made her laugh even harder. A judgmental turtle named Kafka? That's perfect. You're perfect. The word hung in the air between us, and I saw the moment she realized what she'd said. Her cheeks flushed pink. I mean, that's perfect. The turtle thing, she clarified, but her eyes were saying something else entirely. We ate and talked for 2 hours. I learned that Olivia was 32, 3 years older than me, that she'd been making documentaries since she was 25, that her last film had premiered at Sundance and won some award I should have been more impressed by, but was too distracted to properly register. She'd been engaged once to a man named Trevor, but they'd called it off 2 years ago. It wasn't dramatic, she said, pushing rice around her plate. We just weren't right. I think I always knew, but I was trying to be what everyone expected, including myself. And what do you expect now? I asked. She looked up at me, those coffee-colored eyes steady and intense. To be honest, to not waste time on things that don't set my soul on fire. My mouth went dry. That sounds like a good philosophy. What about you? She asked. Any dramatic relationship history I should know about? One serious girlfriend in college, I said. Emily, we were together for 3 years, but she wanted to move to New York for grad school, and I couldn't leave Portland. We tried long distance for about 6 months before admitting it wasn't working. Do you regret staying? No, I said truthfully. Portland is home. My mom's here, my best friend Jules, my whole life. Emily and I wanted different things. She's actually married now to a lovely woman named Sarah. They send me a Christmas card every year. That's very evolved of you, Olivia said. We're all trying our best. I replied with a shrugged out when the check came. We both reached for it. Our hands touched, and I swear to God there was a spark. Not metaphorical, actual static electricity. We both jumped, then laughed. Let me get this, Olivia said. You saved me from drowning. After all, I think that's an exaggeration. Artistic license. I'm a filmmaker. Remember, we walked back to the Jupiter Hotel together. My umbrella still stretched over both of us even though the rain had slowed to a drizzle. The city lights reflected in the wet pavement, turning everything into a watercolor painting. This is me, Olivia said when we reached the hotel entrance. She didn't move to go inside. Well, I said, suddenly awkward. Welcome to Portland. I hope your documentary goes well, Meyer, she said softly. Can I see you again? Yes, I said, too quickly. I mean, definitely, yes. She smiled, pulled out her phone, and we exchanged numbers. Then she did something that stopped my heart. She leaned in and kissed my cheek, her lips soft and warm against my cold skin. Thank you for the umbrella, she whispered, and the company. Then she was gone, disappearing into the hotel lobby, and I was standing alone in the rain with my heart pounding and my cheek burning where she kissed it. I didn't know it then, but that was the moment everything changed. Olivia texted me the next morning. Coffee? I found a place with excellent scones, and I need a local's opinion. We met at Courier Coffee, a tiny spot downtown that served the best espresso in the city. She was wearing black jeans, boots, and a leather jacket, looking like she'd stepped out of a magazine. I felt severely underdressed in my vintage cardigan and sneakers. You look nice, she said, and the way she said it made me believe her. We got our coffee and sat by the window, watching Portland wake up around us. Olivia told me about her film, showing me rough footage on her laptop. It was beautiful the way she captured the quiet intimacy of bookstores, the relationship between booksellers and their customers, the sacred space of shelves and stories. This is incredible, I said honestly. You have such an eye for detail. That's kind of you, she said, closing the laptop. I'm never sure if it's any good until it's completely done. It's vulnerable, putting your work out there. I feel the same way about design, I admitted. Every project feels like showing someone your diary. Exactly, she said, her face lighting up. You get it? We fell into easy conversation, the kind where hours pass without you noticing. She asked about my work, actually interested in the technical details of topography and color theory. I asked about her process, learning about shot composition and narrative structure. We discovered we'd both read the same obscure Virginia Woolf biography and had strong opinions about it. Okay, weird question, Olivia said, draining her third espresso. Do you want to spend the day with me? I was going to explore the city, do some B-roll filming, and I'd love the company and the local expertise. I had work to do, a logo design due by Friday, to websites in various stages of completion. I should have said no. I'd love to, I said. We spent the day wandering Portland with Olivia's camera. She filmed the contrast between old brick buildings and modern architecture, street art in the Pearl District, the Saturday market with its riot of colors and smells. I showed her my favorite spots, the hidden garden behind the Chinese garden, the view from the Piddock Mansion, the tiny bookstore in Selwood that specialized in vintage children's books. This is exactly what I needed, Olivia said as we sat on a bench in Laurelhurst Park, watching dogs play in the late afternoon sun. I've been so focused on the work that I forgot to actually experience places. Occupational hazard, I asked. Something like that. She turned to look at me, and there was something in her expression that made my breath catch. Thank you, Maya, for today, for being you. I'm not doing anything special, I said. You are, though, she insisted. You're present. You're genuinely interested in things. You notice details. It's rare. We were sitting close on the bench, our thighs touching. I could feel the warmth of her even through our jeans. The moment stretched between us, full of possibility and fear. Olivia, I started, not sure what I was going to say. I know, she said softly. Me too. But you're leaving in 6 months. I know, she repeated, and there was sadness in her voice. Terrible timing, isn't it? We sat in silence for a while, watching the sun sink lower through the trees. Every rational part of my brain was screaming warnings. 6 months. She's leaving. Don't do this. Protect yourself. But there's nothing rational about the way your heart chooses to break itself. Do you want to get dinner? I asked finally. She smiled, sad and hopeful at the same time. Yes, that became our pattern. Olivia would text, I would respond, and we'd meet somewhere in the city. Sometimes she was filming and I'd tag along, carrying equipment or suggesting locations. Sometimes we just walked and talked, exploring neighborhoods and sharing stories from our lives. We went to Poles and spent 3 hours browsing, building stacks of books we'd recommend to each other. We attended a reading at Literary Arts where a poet made us both cry. We drove out to the coast one Sunday and walked the beach at Cannon Beach, our hands almost touching, but not quite. Why did you come to Poles that day? Olivia asked as we sat on a driftwood log, watching the waves crash in the rain. I mean, I always go to Poles when I need to think, I said, or when I'm avoiding thinking. It's my church. Basically, what were you avoiding thinking about? I considered lying, giving her something easy, but that wasn't what we were becoming to each other. My ex, Emily, sent me a birth announcement. She and Sarah had a baby, a little girl named Rose. And how did that make you feel? Happy for them, I said truthfully, and also aware that life was moving forward for everyone else while I was kind of stuck, still in the same apartment, same city, same routines. Do you want kids? Olivia asked. Maybe. Someday. I don't know. I picked up a piece of sea glass, worn smooth by the ocean. Do you? I used to think I didn't, she said. But lately, maybe, with the right person. She paused. I think I was afraid to want things. After Trevor, I threw myself into work. It was safer than being vulnerable again. And now, she looked at me, and the intensity in her gaze made my pulse race. Now I'm terrified because I met you, and you're leaving in 6 months' wait. No, I'm leaving. I'm the one leaving. Same difference, I said quietly. Meyer. She reached over and took my hand, lacing our fingers together. Her hand was warm, her grip firm. What are we doing? I don't know, I admitted, but I don't want to stop. She leaned her head on my shoulder, and we sat like that for a long time, holding hands, and watching the ocean, not talking about the clock that was already counting down. 3 weeks after we met, Olivia kissed me. We were at my apartment, a small one-bedroom in southeast Portland with big windows and questionable heating. I'd invited her over for dinner. Nothing fancy, just pasta and salad and a bottle of wine I'd stressed over choosing for 20 minutes at the store. Kafka watched us from his tank with his usual judgmental expression. "He really does look disapproving," Olivia said, peering at the turtle, "like he's seen into my soul and found it wanting." "He's like that with everyone," I assured her. "I think he's just disappointed that I'm not more existentially tormented." "Are you not existentially tormented?" "I'm pretty constantly questioning the meaning of existence." "Well, Kafka is a turtle. His standards are very high." She laughed, and I felt absurdly proud of making her happy. We ate dinner at my small table, talking about everything and nothing. She told me about growing up in London, her complicated relationship with her mother, the first film she ever made on her dad's old camcorder. I told her about my dad leaving when I was 8, about my mom's strength in raising me alone, about the treehouse I'd built in our backyard where I'd hidden and drawn pictures for hours. After dinner, we moved to the couch with the rest of the wine. We'd been drinking steadily, not enough to be drunk, but enough to soften the edges of our usual caution. "Can I ask you something personal?" Olivia said, curled up on one end of my couch with her feet tucked under her double quotes always. "When did you know that you were gay?" "Probably always, if I'm honest," I said. "But I was 12 when I had the conscious realization. I saw Ellen DeGeneres come out on TV, and something just clicked, like permission to be who I already was." I sipped my wine. "What about you?" "Later," she said. "I dated boys through university. Convinced myself I was straight because that's what was expected. But there was always this feeling of performance, like I was playing a role." She paused, staring into her wine glass. "I fell for a woman when I was 26, a sound engineer on one of my early films. We had a brief, intense thing, and afterward, I couldn't pretend anymore. Came out to my family, ended my engagement to Trevor, started over. That must have been hard." "It was liberating," she said. "Terrifying, but liberating. My mom struggled with it initially, but she came around. My dad was wonderful. He just wanted me to be happy." She smiled softly. "Trevor was actually really understanding. We're still friends." "That's good," I said. "Friendship after romance means you both did it right." "Is that what Emily is to you?" "A friend. More like evidence that I'm capable of loving someone," I said. "We text occasionally, like each other's Instagram posts." "It's nice knowing she's happy." "You're very generous," Olivia said. "With your heart." "That sounds like a criticism." "It's not. It's an observation." She set down her wine glass and shifted closer to me on the couch. "Meyer, I need to tell you something." My heart started pounding. "Okay, I'm falling for you," she said simply. "I know that's complicated and probably stupid given that I'm leaving, but I can't keep pretending this is just friendship. Every time I'm with you, I feel more alive. Every time we say goodbye, I count the hours until I see you again. And when I'm filming, I find myself thinking about what you'd notice, how you'd frame a shot, what you'd say about the light." I couldn't breathe. "Olivia, you don't have to say anything," she rushed on. "I just needed you to know. I needed to be honest about what this is for me. Can I show you something?" I asked. I got up and went to my bedroom, returning with a sketchbook. I handed it to her, watching her face as she flipped through the pages. They were all drawings of her. Olivia laughing at career coffee, Olivia filming in Poils, Olivia on the beach with the wind in her hair. Dozens of sketches, each one capturing a moment I'd memorized. "You drew these?" she whispered. "I couldn't help it," I said. "You're all I think about. When I wake up, when I'm supposed to be working, when I go to bed. I'm falling for you too, Olivia. I've been falling since the moment you stood in that rain." Laughing, she set the sketchbook down carefully, as if it were something precious. Then she leaned forward and kissed me. It wasn't tentative or uncertain. It was a kiss that said everything we'd been too afraid to admit. Her lips were soft, tasting of wine and cinnamon, and when her hand came up to cut my face, I melted into her. We kissed until we were breathless, until we were lying tangled together on my couch, until Kafka had witnessed enough and retreated into his shell in protest. "Stay tonight," I whispered against her lips. "Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." She stayed, and it was perfect and terrifying, and we both knew we were starting something that had an expiration date, but neither of us could stop. The next 2 months were the happiest of my life. Olivia and I fell into a relationship that felt both brand new and ancient, like we'd known each other forever. We navigated the usual new couple things, whose place to stay at usually mine, because I had Kafka. How much time was too much time together? There was never enough. What to tell our friends and family everything? I introduced her to Jules, my best friend since high school. Jules took one look at us together and pulled me aside. "Honey, I love you, but this is going to destroy you," she said bluntly. "She's leaving, I know, and you're doing it anyway." "I have to, Jules. It's worth it." Jules hugged me tight. "Okay, but I'm on standby for the heartbreak." Olivia introduced me to her crew, a cinematographer named Marcus and a producer named Sheila, who were both lovely and clearly protective of her. They accepted me immediately, even inviting me to filming sessions. I watched Olivia work and fell even more in love. She was brilliant behind the camera, seeing connections and stories that others missed. She was patient with her subjects, making them comfortable, drawing out their truths. She was exacting with herself, doing take after take until it felt right. "You're incredible," I told her one night after a long day of filming. "I'm a perfectionist with control issues," she corrected. "Same thing." We celebrated Thanksgiving together, just the two of us, because her family was in London and mine was complicated. I cooked a small turkey that was slightly dry, and she made stuffing from a family recipe that was absolutely perfect. We ate on my couch, watching terrible movies and feeding each other pie. "I'm thankful for you," she said, kissing my forehead. "For this, for every moment." "Don't," I said, fighting back tears. "Don't make it sound like an ending already. I'm sorry. I just want you to know we didn't talk about February, about when her project would be done and she'd have to return to London. It loomed over us like a storm cloud. We were both pretending not to see Dot in December. It snowed unusual for Portland. We woke up to a world transformed, everything white and quiet and magical. Olivia grabbed her camera, and we spent the day filming the city in winter, stopping for hot chocolate and snowball fights in Laurelhurst Park. "I wish I could freeze this moment," she said, filming me as I made a snow angel. "Keep it forever, you kind of are," I pointed out. "That's what your camera does. It's not the same." She lowered the camera, her expression serious. "Film captures what something looked like. It doesn't capture how it felt. How does it feel?" I asked Dot. She came over and kissed me, snowflakes melting between us. Like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and like I'm making a terrible mistake, because I can't stay. Christmas was hard. Olivia flew back to London for a week to see her family, and her absence was a physical ache. We FaceTimed every day, sometimes multiple times, but it wasn't the same as having her beside me. "I miss you so much," she said on Christmas morning, her face pixelated on my phone screen. My mom asked why I've been so distracted. I showed her pictures of you. What did she say? She said you're beautiful. And then she asked if I'd thought about what happens next. "Have you?" I asked, even though I was afraid of the answer. "Constantly," Olivia admitted. "Maya, I interrupted. "Not today. Let's just be happy today." She came back on New Year's Eve, and we stayed in, just the two of us. We cooked together, drank champagne, kissed at midnight with the sounds of fireworks echoing outside. We made love slowly, carefully, like we were memorizing each other. "New year, new possibilities," Olivia whispered afterward, tracing patterns on my skin. "What if you stayed?" I asked, the words slipping out before I could stop them. She went still. "Meyer, I know it's crazy. I know you have your life in London, your career, your family. But what if? What if you found a reason to stay? You're asking me to give up everything I've built. I'm asking if I could be worth it. She sat up, pulling the sheet around her. That's not fair. You know you're worth it. But I can't just abandon my life. My cats are there, my production company, my friends. I have projects lined up, contracts signed, right? I said, feeling foolish and hurt. Of course. I'm sorry, Meyer. Look at me. She cupped my face in her hands. I love you. I'm in love with you. But I don't know how to make this work. I don't know how to be into places at once. You love me. It was the first time either of us had said it. Desperately, she said, completely. And it's breaking my heart. We held each other and cried, mourning something that wasn't over yet, but already felt like a ghost. January was bittersweet. We had 6 weeks left. Olivia's project was wrapping up. Her flight back to London booked for mid-February. We spent every moment we could together. But there was an undercurrent of grief to everything now. Come with me, Olivia said one night. We were in her hotel room, her things already starting to be packed into boxes. To London, visit for a while, see if you could picture a life there. I can't just leave. Olivia, my clients, my mom, my life. I know. I'm being selfish. I don't know how to let you go. What if you came back? I suggested. Portland can't be the only city with interesting bookstores. Maybe you could find another project here. Maybe, she said. But we both knew it was unlikely. Her whole life was across an ocean. Mine was rooted here. We were impossible. A 6-month romance that should never have started. But God, I couldn't regret it. 1 week before she was supposed to leave, Olivia called me at midnight, crying. I got offered a job, she said through tears. A series for the BBC, 8 episodes, profiling independent bookstores across Europe. It's my dream project, Meyer, everything I've been working toward. That's amazing, I said, my heart sinking. Congratulations. I'd have to start immediately, like next month. I'd be traveling constantly for at least a year. Oh, I don't know what to do, she sobbed. I want this job. I've wanted this opportunity for years. But I want you. I want both. And I can't have both. Then take the job, I said, even though it was killing me. Olivia, you have to take the job. I don't want to lose you. You won't? I promised, knowing it was a lie we both needed. We'll figure something out. Long distance. Visits? I don't know. But you can't give up your dream. You're my dream too, she whispered. We didn't solve anything that night, but we held each other through the phone, across the dark city, until morning came. Her last day in Portland was raining, just like the first day we met. We spent it at my apartment, barely talking, just being together. Every minute felt precious and painful. I have something for you, I said, handing her a wrapped package. Inside was a leather-bound journal filled with my drawings of her every sketch I'd made over the past 6 months, chronicling our love story in images. Meyer, she breathed, tears streaming down her face. This is the most beautiful thing anyone's ever given me. I have something for you too, she said, pulling out a small box. Inside was a silver necklace with a tiny umbrella charm. So you remember, she said, fastening it around my neck. The day we met, the day everything changed. We made love one last time, slowly and desperately, trying to memorize every touch, every sound, every sensation. Afterward, we lay tangled together, neither of us willing to move and acknowledge that time was running out. I don't know how to do this, I admitted. How to say goodbye? Then don't, Olivia said. Let's not say goodbye. Let's say, until next time. When is next time? I don't know, she admitted. But I refuse to believe this is over. I refuse to believe what we have just ends. The cab came too soon. I helped her carry her bags downstairs, my heart breaking with every step. She was leaving for the airport, flying out that night. I love you, she said, holding me tight on the rainy sidewalk. I love you so much, Meyer. That doesn't change just because I'm getting on a plane. I love you too. I managed through my tears. Go make beautiful things. Show the world what I already know, that you're brilliant. One more kiss. One more embrace. Then she was in the cab, pulling away, and I was standing in the rain, alone with my broken heart and her umbrella charm cold against my skin. The weeks after Olivia left were the hardest of my life. I threw myself into work, taking on every project I could find. Jules dragged me out when I became too hermit-like, forcing me to socialize and pretend to be okay. Olivia and I texted and called. But it was different. The time difference made everything harder. When I was waking up, she was going to bed. Our conversations became shorter, more fragmented. She was busy with her new project, traveling constantly. I was busy trying to put my life back together. I miss you became the most common thing we said to each other. 1 month became 2. 2 became 3. Our calls became less frequent. The I love you started to feel like habit rather than truth. In April, she called me at an odd hour. Meyer, we need to talk, she said. And I knew. I'd known for weeks, but hadn't wanted to face it. You're ending this. I said, I don't want to, she said, crying. But I can't keep holding on to something that's making us both miserable. I can't be what you need from across an ocean, and you deserve someone who can be there, really be there. Don't tell me what I deserve, I said, angry and hurt. You don't get to decide that. You're right. I'm sorry. Meyer, I love you. But love isn't always enough. It should be, I whispered. I know, but it's not. We talked for another hour, crying and remembering and trying to find a way to say goodbye that didn't hurt. There wasn't one. Thank you, she said finally, for 6 months of magic, for showing me what real love feels like, for being you. Thank you for the umbrella, I said, touching the charm at my neck, for seeing me, for everything. After we hung up, I sat in my dark apartment with Kafka, who looked slightly less judgmental than usual, maybe even sympathetic. She was right, I told the turtle. Love isn't always enough. Kafka retreated into his shell. Even he couldn't handle that truth. They say time heals all wounds. I don't think that's true. Time just makes you better at carrying the wound. 6 months after Olivia left, I was okay. Not happy, not over it, but okay. I'd started dating again, nothing serious. Just coffee and conversation, and reminding myself that there were other people in the world. Jules was proud of me. You're doing great, she said over brunch one Sunday. Really? I'm functioning, I corrected. There is a difference. Functioning is a start. I still wore the umbrella necklace. I still had the drawings of her hidden in a drawer I never opened. I still dreamed about her sometimes, waking up with tears on my face and her name on my lips. But I was living. That was something. 1 year after we met, on a rainy October afternoon, I was standing under the awning of Powell's City of Books when someone tapped my shoulder. I turned around, and there she was, Olivia, soaking wet, her hair plastered to her face, laughing at the absurdity of it all. Hi, she said. Hi, I managed, my heart exploding in my chest. What are you? How? I got a job, she said, talking fast, nervous, teaching documentary filmmaking at Portland State. 3-year contract. I moved back last week. I've been trying to work up the courage to contact you. And then today I was walking past Powell's, and I thought, what if she's here? What if it's raining and she's here? Just like before. You're staying? I could barely process it. In Portland, if you'll have me, she said. I know it's been a year. I know you might have moved on. I know I have no right to show up like this and ask for another chance. But Meyer, I never stopped loving you. Not for a single day. And I had to try. I had to know if maybe, possibly, you might still feel. I kissed her, right there in the rain, in front of Powell's, a year after she'd first stolen my heart. I kissed her like I'd been holding my breath for 12 months. And she was oxygen. Double quotes, yes, I said when we finally broke apart. Yes to everything. Yes to you. She laughed and cried and kissed me again. And passersby probably thought we were insane. But I didn't care. She was here. She'd come back. Against all odds. She'd chosen me. I still have your umbrella, she said, pulling me close. The one you gave me that first day. I kept it. I couldn't throw it away. Good, I said, because I kept the charm you gave me. I've worn it every day we stood in the rain, holding each other. And I thought about chance and choice and how sometimes the universe gives you a second act when you least expect it. Come home with me? I asked. Where else would I go? We walked back to my apartment, sharing the umbrella that had started everything, and I introduced her properly to Kafka, who seemed less judgmental than usual, maybe even approving. That night, as we lay tangled together in my bed, Olivia traced patterns on my skin and whispered, "I'm sorry it took me so long to figure out what mattered most." "You're here now," I said. "That's what matters." 3 years, she said. My contract is for 3 years. After that, who knows? But 3 years is a start. 3 years is forever, I said. In the right moments, she kissed my forehead, my cheeks, my lips. I love you, Myra. I'm going to say it every day until you're sick of hearing it. I'll never be sick of hearing it, I promised. Outside, the rain continued to fall on Portland, washing everything clean. Somewhere in the city, other people were meeting for the first time, making choices that would change their lives, learning that sometimes you have to lose something to understand what it's worth. But we were here, together, with 3 years stretching ahead of us like a gift. And if I'd learned anything from losing Olivia and getting her back, it was that you don't waste the gifts you're given. We had 3 years, and we were going to make every single day count. Spring arrived in Portland, with its usual dramatic flare cherry blossoms exploding across the city, rain giving way to tentative sunshine. Everyone emerging from their winter hibernation like bears remembering how to be human. Olivia had moved into my apartment officially in January. It was a tight fit, her books merged with mine, her camera equipment taking over what used to be my workspace. Her 3 cats finally arriving from London and forming an uneasy alliance with Kafka, who seemed both affronted and secretly pleased by the company. "We need a bigger place," Olivia said one Saturday morning as she tripped over Wild, who had claimed the hallway as his personal kingdom. "Are you asking me to move in with you?" I teased. "Because technically you already live here. I'm asking if you want to find a place that's ours," she said, wrapping her arms around me from behind as I made coffee. "Not your apartment that I invaded. Something we choose together." "Yes," I said, turning to kiss her. "Absolutely yes." We spent weekends looking at apartments and small houses, imagining our life in each space. Could we fit a proper office for both of us here? Was there room for Olivia's editing equipment? Would the cats approve of the window light? We found it in Mayer's small craftsman house in Southeast with hardwood floors, a brick fireplace, and a backyard where we could build a greenhouse for my mom, who had become one of Olivia's biggest fans and was constantly bringing us homemade soup. "This is it," Olivia said, standing in the empty living room, her voice echoing off the walls. "This is home. We moved in together properly, combining our lives in ways that felt both momentous and completely natural. Her toothbrush next to mine, her clothes in the closet beside mine, her name on the lease next to mine. Jules helped us move, along with Marcus and Sheila from Olivia's crew, and my mom, who cried happy tears while insisting she had allergies. "I'm so glad you found each other again," Mom said, hugging us both. "You two are meant to be." "We almost weren't," I said quietly. "But you are," Mom insisted. "That's what matters. You both fought for this." Olivia's teaching position at Portland State was thriving. She was a natural educator, challenging her students while nurturing their creativity. She'd come home energized, telling me about their projects, their breakthroughs, their struggles. I had a student today who shot the most beautiful sequence about her grandmother's hands, Olivia said over dinner one night. Just hands, kneading bread. But it said everything about legacy and love and time. I got choked up watching it. "You're making a difference," I told her. "Those students are lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have them," she said. "And you, God. Especially you." My own work was evolving too. I'd started a small design studio, bringing on to junior designers and focusing on projects I actually cared about. Nonprofits, local businesses, artists who needed branding help but couldn't afford big agencies. Look at us, Olivia said, actually building lives we're proud of. Together, I added. Together, she agreed. That summer, we took our first real vacation as a couple a week in a cabin on the Oregon coast. No work, no obligations, just us and the ocean and time. We walked the beaches every morning, collecting sea glass and talking about everything and nothing. We cooked elaborate dinners and ate them on the deck while watching the sunset. We made love with the windows open, the sound of waves mixing with our whispers. One evening, as we sat on the beach watching the sky turn orange and pink and purple, Olivia turned to me with a serious expression. I need to tell you something, she said. My stomach dropped. Okay, I got an offer. The BBC wants me back for another series. 8 months of filming across Asia. It would start next spring. Here it was, the other shoe dropping, the thing I'd been quietly dreading since she came back. Oh, I managed. I turned it down, she said. What? Why? Because I'm not running anymore, Olivia said firmly. I spent my whole life chasing the next project, the next opportunity, never staying anywhere long enough to build something real. And I finally have something real. I have you. I have a home. I have students who need me. I'm not giving that up for 8 months in hotel rooms. But it's your dream, I protested. You can't give up opportunities like that. It was my dream, she corrected. My dreams have changed. You're my dream now. This life we're building, that's my dream. I started crying, overwhelmed by the weight of what she was saying. Are you sure? I don't want you to resent me later. I can never resent you, she said, wiping my tears. Meyer, loving you has taught me what actually matters. It's not the accolades or the prestigious projects. It's coming home to someone who knows you completely. It's building something that lasts. I love you so much. I said, I love you too. And I'm staying for as long as you'll have me. Forever? Then, I said, forever works for me. October arrived again, bringing rain and memories. 2 years since we'd first met. 1 year since Olivia had come back. We were hosting a dinner party at our house. Jules and her new girlfriend, Marcus and Sheila, a few other friends. The house was full of warmth and laughter and the smell of the roasted chicken Olivia had somehow not burned. After dinner, as everyone gathered in the living room with wine and dessert, Olivia stood up and clinked her glass. I want to say something, she announced. Everyone quieted down, curious. 2 years ago today, I met the love of my life in the rain outside Powell's bookstore. She gave me her umbrella, and I gave her my heart. Though I didn't know it yet, she looked at me, her eyes shining. Meyer, you changed everything. You showed me what home means, what love means, what it means to be truly seen and accepted. Olivia, what are you? I started. But she held up a hand. Let me finish, please. She took a deep breath. I know we've only been back together for a year. I know some people might think it's too soon, but when you've already lost someone once, you learn not to waste time. She got down on one knee, and my heart stopped. Meyer Chen, will you marry me? The room erupted in gasps and cheers, but all I could see was Olivia kneeling on our living room floor, holding a simple silver ring with a tiny diamond, looking at me with such hope and love and vulnerability. Yes, I said, laughing and crying at the same time. Yes, of course, yes. She slipped the ring on my finger, and I pulled her up and kissed her while our friends cheered and whooped and Jules yelled finally. I have the ring you gave me, I said, touching the umbrella charm at my neck. And now I have this. You keep giving me pieces of forever. You gave me forever first, Olivia said. That day in the rain, you just didn't know it yet. We got married in June in the backyard of our house, surrounded by everyone we loved. It was small and intimate and perfect, exactly what we wanted. My mom cried through the entire ceremony. Olivia's parents flew in from London, her mother embracing me and whispering thank you for making my daughter so happy. Jules was my maid of honor. Marcus was Olivia's best man. The cats were spectacularly uninterested in the proceedings. Though Wild did knock over a flower arrangement at one point, we wrote our own vows when it was my turn. I looked at Olivia, beautiful in a simple white dress, flowers in her hair, eyes full of love, and said, "Olivia, when I gave you my umbrella the rainy day, I had no idea I was giving you everything. You taught me that love is worth the risk, that sometimes the best things in life come with expiration dates, except when they don't, except when you fight for them and they come back to you and you get to start over. Wiser and braver than before, I promise to love you through every rainstorm and sunny day. I promise to be your home, wherever we are. I promise to never stop seeing you, really seeing you, the way I did that first day. I love you forever." Olivia was crying openly now. She took my hands and said, "Meyer, you are the best decision I've ever made. And I almost didn't make it. I almost let you go. But you taught me that some loves are too big to fit in the life you've planned. They require you to build a bigger life, a braver life. You are my bigger, braver life. I promise to choose you every day. I promise to build a forever with you, one day at a time. I promise that no job, no opportunity, no dream will ever be bigger than us. Because you're not separate from my dreams, you are my dream. I love you completely, forever." When the officiant pronounced us married, we kissed while everyone cheered. And I thought about fate and chase and rain and umbrellas and how sometimes you have to lose your heart to find out where it really belongs. Life settled into a beautiful rhythm. Olivia got tenure at Portland State. I expanded my design studio, bringing on to more people and moving into a small office space downtown. We traveled when we could, short trips up and down the coast. A few weeks in London visiting her family. One memorable adventure to New York where we ran into Emily and Sarah with their now toddler Rose. "You look happy," Emily said, hugging me tight. "Really? Genuinely happy?" "I am," I said, watching Olivia charm Sarah with a story about Wild's latest destruction. "I really am." We talked about kids sometimes, maybe in a few years, maybe adoption, maybe IVF. We had time to figure it out. What we had now was enough. Our house, our cats, our careers, our friends, our love. We had dinner parties and quiet nights in. We had adventures and routines. We had everything that mattered. One rainy October evening 3 years after we'd first met, we were curled up on the couch together. Olivia grading student films on her laptop while I sketched ideas for a new client. "Hey," she said suddenly, closing her laptop. "Do you remember what today is? Tuesday?" I guessed. 3 years ago today. You gave me your umbrella." "Oh my God," I said, setting down my sketchbook. "I can't believe it's been 3 years. 3 years since you saved me from the rain and changed my life," she said, pulling me close. "Best umbrella I ever borrowed. You never gave it back. You know, I gave you something better," she said, gesturing around our house at the life we'd built. "I gave you me forever." "That's pretty cheesy," I said, but I was smiling. "You love it when I'm cheesy." "I do," I admitted. "I love everything about you." Outside, rain continued to fall on Portland, washing the streets clean, making everything new again. Somewhere in the city, 2 women were probably meeting for the first time, not knowing yet how their lives were about to change. Not knowing yet about the magic of chance encounters and borrowed umbrellas and hearts that refused to stay protected. But we knew we lived it. We were living it still. "Thank you," Olivia whispered against my hair, "for not giving up on us. Thank you for coming back," I whispered back, "for choosing me every time," she promised. "In every universe, in every timeline, in every version of this story, I choose you." And in our house, warm and dry while the rain fell outside, surrounded by cats and love and a future that stretched ahead of us like a promise. I knew she meant it. Some loves are meant to be brief and beautiful, teaching you something essential before they fade. And some loves, the rare ones, the precious ones, are meant to last forever. Ours was forever. And it all started with an umbrella and a rainy day and a woman who made me believe that sometimes The best things in life are worth the risk of a broken heart, because hearts, I learned, are remarkably resilient. They break, yes, but they also heal, and when they do, they're capable of holding even more love than before.